You could start by telling me your name and how old you are.
I'm Tristan Connor, and I'm 33.
And a little bit about life growing up.
I was born over here, but I moved to the Falkland Islands, and that's where all my family are from. Up until I was about eight or nine, something happened to me that I can't talk about, and then I moved over here, in and out of foster placements, child foster placements, shit like that. And then I started running away from the places that they were putting me in, and I became a destructive child. And then I suppose since I was 15, I've been living out on the streets.
Since you were 15?
Since I was 15, yeah. And then basically in that space of time, I've only been in placements about 2 years in total, out of the 17 year.
Wow.
And yeah, I come to Leeds when I was about 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've been here ever since. And I've been out on the streets for 7.5 years here.
Wow.
I've been in a couple of places like Grace Lodge and the Crypt, but they didn't work out for me. Yeah.
What do you think it is about those places that doesn't work out?
Well, the Crypt, it didn't really work for me because I don't like being around a lot of people. And when you're sharing a room with about 20 odd people yourself, and you're waking up and you're being robbed and everything like that, it sort of discourages being in there.
Definitely, yeah.
And yeah, that's why I didn't like going in.
What happened with the foster places and stuff when you were younger?
It was just more the fact that I was just disruptive. There was nothing really wrong with the foster placements, apart from one person who used to hit me and all stuff like that. But no, I never got believed when I tried telling the social services. I always kept getting called a liar and stuff like that, because apparently that sort of things don't happen in foster placements, but it does.
Of course it, yeah.
It happens everywhere.
Of course.
But nobody likes hearing about stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, it was just a hard time, really.
Been homeless since you were 15?
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about it?
Basically, the hardest part I find is basically being away from my family and my kids.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen my kids for nearly 8 years.
Wow.
I haven't seen my mother for over 10 years.
Do you still get to talk to them at all?
No. No, they completely disowned me.
Would you like to rebuild that relationship?
Do you know, I wouldn't mind to, but it's not my choice to make.
No.
You know, yeah.
Do you feel that what more could people do to help?
Say more people to help, say just to stop talking to them instead of just looking down at them. Because a lot of people I find it very uncomfortable when people just stare at you and they just walk past you like you're nothing and calling you smackheads and everything like that. So they don't know who you are, what you've been through,
No.
or what's led you to that point. You know, it's like I've been through addiction since I was 15. I started smoking weed and that when I was 10-year-old. But when I've gone hard when I was 15, like ecstasy, and then it led up to heroin and crack cocaine, and it sort of still has. But I'm sort of trying to change all that. And I've been doing all right for the last 3 years.
That's really good.
I still slip up in that, but yeah.
Did you, before you took those drugs, did you know anything about them? Did you know what sort of effect it would end up having on your life?
No, definitely not. I didn't know anything like that. Just saw other people taking it and it looked like they were having a good time.
Yeah.
And when I got offered it, I said no a couple of times, and then it started to intrigue me more. And because of that, I ended up taking it a lot. And then when I wasn't taking it, I found myself ill. And then when I took the things again, I was fine.
Yeah.
And it wasn't basically, yeah. And it's been it just took hold of me.
And then before you know it, it's too late.
Yeah, there's all shoplifting and everything for it.
Mm.
No, I don't shoplift or anything like that. I haven't done that for about nearly 10 years. I haven't been arrested or convicted for anything apart from begging in the last 10 or 15 years.
Have they convicted you for begging?
Yeah. So, well, it is illegal to beg on the streets. And you get warnings, but
That's ridiculous.
yeah. So I don't understand why, because at the end of the day, you're not hurting anybody, you're
Well,
not doing
no.
no harm, you're just sitting there, just waiting for that right person to go past.
Like, I only found out recently that it was illegal, but I didn't realise they went as far as like actually convicting people for it.
Yeah, they impose either fines or imprisonment. Well, I got away with just having fines and dispersals and all that.
But then how do they even expect you to pay the fine? That's...
Just for how you used to do it, or for benefits or whatever.
That's crazy.
But you can't seem to get any benefit bank accounts unless you've got an address that you can't get one.
No.
Like, I haven't had one since I was 18. So I really just started getting a credit union account within the last 6 months.
Because I bet then it becomes a vicious cycle with no address. You can't get the help you need, and then without it just goes round and round then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you said before that you'd been doing really well for the past 3 years. Have you done that on your own, or have you had help with that, or?
No, I've had support for it all, but it's sort of you just got to try and change your mind and change the way you think, and having the right sort of support and the right people around you at the time.
Yeah.
And
I think that makes all the difference, having the right people around you.
yeah, of course it does. But when you're out on the streets, you don't have that actual support network where you can be around them sort of people all the time.
Yeah.
I only see them like once a week, which isn't really good enough, to be fair.
But still, that's amazing that you've achieved that. That's really good. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I wanted to be it's going to be a really strange one, but I wanted to grow up in the submarines. And that sort of stemmed from when I was living in the Falkland Islands. That's like an army foundation down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I joined the Sea Cadets when I was younger. Been on a few submarines. Dismantled rifles and shot them, stuff like that when I was a kid. And then I wanted to be a mechanic as I got a little bit older. But then drugs came into my life when I was 15. And I started doing college work, and that's when it started hitting me. And I couldn't do that no more. But
Where would you like to be in sort of 5 years' time? What would you like your life to be like?
normal, whatever that is. I want my kids back around me. I want a stable home, a stable job, and basically have the life that I've had just put it behind me. And I can't do that at the minute until I've got somewhere stable, like some home I can go to, and I haven't got that. And yeah, it's just difficult.
Have you got any advice for people watching this?
Just not to judge people, and just stop and talk, just get asking themselves about themselves, just don't look down, you know what I mean?
Everyone's got a story to tell.
Well, yeah, it could be them, it could be just round the corner from one paycheck and they could be homeless.
Yeah.
You just don't know. So,
Like, I think a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck and they never even consider that. But you're right, it could happen to anyone. That's great, thank you so much. Thank you very much for watching Tristan's story. We're now going to talk a little bit about it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed. Thank you. So Tristan, I want to start by talking a little bit about, he was in and out of foster care from the age of 9, and he said he was being abused, but no one believed him because I think social services are probably quick to be like, well, that thing doesn't happen in foster care. Whereas actually I think it's probably a lot more common than you want to think it is. Because you want to think that when you've taken them out of the situation that they were in, that you're then putting them in a safe environment, aren't you?
Yes.
You're not then putting them in another dangerous environment. Whereas in fact 1 in every 100 children experience abuse in the foster system, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, that's a
It's
lot.
a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot when you, like, I don't know the exact numbers, but when you think there must be a lot of children in foster care, for then 1 in every 100 of them to be experiencing some form of abuse when that's meant to be a safe place for them.
Do you think they did not believe him because as a kid we all lie? When you're a kid, kids lie.
Kids lie, yeah. They do.
But where do you get to the? Where do you go from? Follow the investigation or not believe the kids? Because
Exactly. Like, I think with stuff like that, it's
Stuff
always
like
worth
that.
looking into. What's the worst that's going to happen?
yeah,
You find out the kid was lying. That's the worst that's going to happen, isn't it? I guess.
because
Yeah.
there's some cases that kids are literally telling the truth. Sometimes the social service don't even believe them.
And then, like, more than 2 out of 5 foster carers that in proven abuse cases have had previous allegations against them that
So
obviously
not-
haven't been believed, yet they were still allowed to care for children.
I think if it's like 2 complaint or 3 complaint, your
Mhm.
foster parents, I think social services need to look into it.
I think 1 complaint they need to look into it. It's great. And then, like, a quarter of the foster carers in those cases were looking after children who fell outside the age that they were approved to look after, because obviously you're only approved to look after certain ages, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then more than 60% of abuse victims in care were girls. And this bit, like, gave me, like, shivers a little bit. The average age is 9.
9.
9, which is exactly what Tristan was, 9.
That's so horrible because
Mm-hmm.
if you're a foster parent, the reason why you're a foster parent to give them kids a better life,
Yeah.
to help them, to support them, and
To get them through what they've been through, because
Yeah.
they've obviously been through something to end up in foster care.
Yeah. But for you to have that power and then abuse them and abuse the power, these people should be in
Mhm.
jail.
Yeah.
They should be in jail.
And if 45 of those affected by a proven, so they've proved that there is abuse, 45% were removed immediately from those foster carers, but almost a quarter remained where they were in proven cases. Yeah,
But
because that's a child's life, and I think we've not proven, because anyone can prove anything if you want to, but I think we have hopefully shown that a disruptive childhood leads to a disruptive adult in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was creepy how the average age is 9 and Tristan was 9. So he then obviously became disruptive after that, and I don't think you can even blame him.
Because you don't know better.
He's had that massive upheaval of going into foster care,
Yeah.
and he didn't obviously want to talk about how he ended up in foster care.
Yeah.
But I think the mere fact he didn't want to talk about it suggests it probably was traumatic
Yeah.
to him. And then he's had that abuse happen, being called a liar. Of course,
That's the
he's then
thing.
going to act out. That's the only way kids know how to.
Most time, especially when you call the kids a liar, what they do, they start taking that abuse because no one else believes them. Who they're gonna run into? The persons in care who meant to look after them.
Aren't looking after them.
They're
or
not
aren't
looking after them
out
or
for them.
believe in them.
Mm.
Where are you gonna run to?
You got nowhere.
You ain't got nowhere.
And that's how he ended up being homeless at 15.
Homeless at 15, that's too young. That's a baby.
But it's terrifying that, because I think the thought of being homeless is terrifying, not for the mere fact of being homeless, but how vulnerable you then are on the streets. But the mere fact that to him was a safer option than the foster care
Yeah.
should say it all. Like, he would rather be out there looking out for himself than with the people that were meant to be looking after him. So he started smoking weed at age 10 and then moved on to...
Where was
do
the
you even
social
get weed
sense?
from at 10?
Where did you get the weed at 10?
I don't think I even knew... definitely didn't know what weed was at 10. Definitely. That's like the end of primary school.
Yeah.
No idea.
And your brain is not developed properly at that age, at 10 years old.
Even at like 15, like your brain isn't...
And then you're smoking weed. It's definitely going to affect your brain.
Well, not even that. Like, you're not old enough to think of the consequences of what you're doing. And then to move on to harder drugs at 15 it's a scary thought that a 15-year-old is able to get those sort of drugs. And he didn't know what he was taking.
No.
As in, like, he knew what he was taking, but he didn't know the effect.
The effect.
It would have on his life.
I think most people, they don't know the full effect.
No.
They don't know.
I think they think they can control it.
No.
And you can't. Once you start taking drugs, the drugs then control you.
Yeah. It's all depends why do you take drugs from. Because I know people that smoke cannabis for 20 years, 30 years. They never thought about moving to other drugs.
Yeah, but then do you also think some of that is, sorry, the crowd that they hang out with?
Yeah.
As in, I think a lot of these people that end up taking harder drugs have been introduced to them by the people they hang out with.
Mm.
Whereas the people that just smoke weed for years, like the other people in their friendship group, I think would probably frown down on harder drugs.
Mm.
Or you'd be looked down upon for taking them.
Yeah.
I think that's a very complex subject. But it is interesting because a lot of people who become full addicts have started on weed. But then there is lots of people that do just smoke cannabis and never progress.
So do you think cannabis...
I don't think it's any more of a gateway drug than smoking a cigarette is. I really don't.
So it's not...
I don't think it is. But then by making it Class B, did they make it more of a gateway drug? Did they have the opposite effect? Because it's only one below a Class A. So if you're smoking weed, in your head, you're thinking, well, is there a massive difference between doing that and doing harder drugs?
There's a big difference.
Well, I know there is, but in your head, are you thinking there's not? Like, by making it a Class B, have they actually backfired?
Yeah.
In making it look harder than it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I think I don't fully know why they made it a Class B. But I assume it was to stop people using it.
Yeah.
But have they actually made it more of a gateway drug by doing that? Because if you're looking at it like that, I don't know if you are when you take like heroin or crack cocaine, but could you look at it as in, well, I'm already smoking weed and that's not much below that. What's the difference? I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know. But I really hope he's done really well in the past 3 years, and hopefully he'll continue progressing and get the life he wants to have.
And you know what is most disturbing, right? Is like most people, before including myself, most people is thinking that a homeless person need money, need food, but no, they just want to chat. That's what
And he's one of many people that have said that to us.
It would be just
For
nice
people to acknowledge.
them, like just say hi.
Because can you imagine if you went through life like walking past people being like good morning and everyone just ignores you?
Yeah.
You'd begin to feel like shit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But then people think they say good morning because they need a change. No,
they're just being polite.
They're just being polite.
The same way like
they live on the street. That's
walk
their
through Nantwich every morning to work. I end up saying morning about 1 million times to people.
Do you?
Oh gosh.
put my head down and I walk.
Everyone's like, morning.
I get it a lot in the gym though. Yeah.
But can you imagine how you would feel if you walked in the gym and everyone ignored you repeatedly?
I would love
no
that.
matter how.
I would love that. You know what?
But even if you tried to speak to them, if everyone just like brushed you off.
No, but if I go to the gym and no one speaks to me, I would love that. So I could crack on with my work. I would love that. But yeah, it's just to acknowledge them. They just want someone to acknowledge them. They're there.
They're a person.
Yeah.
You wouldn't treat other people like that, so why? Just
And
because
just
they're
polite,
homeless, why would you treat them like that?
And he's just polite as well.
And British people have big on manners. Supposedly. But yeah, I hope he continues to progress and get the life that he wants to, and to rebuild his relationships.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed it. Thank you.